Understanding the Local Control and Accountability Plan. Part 4, 2018-19 Recommended LCAP Revisions. Our Local Control and Accountability Plan shows how San Juan Unified School District will improve conditions for learning, school climate, and pupil achievement for all students, and particularly for English learners, low income, and foster youth. We're modifying the current 3-year plan based on evidence and stakeholder input. This year, we analyzed data related to our expected outcomes and listened to parents, students, staff, bargaining units, and others in order to understand what was working and what needed to be improved. Input was also collected from the LCAP Advisory Committee, the District English Learner Advisory Committee, the school board, and other groups during the year. All input was considered, and actions addressing what we heard are being recommended to the school board for approval. Evidence showed progress for English language learners, growth in reading in grades K-2, academic progress of foster youth, and high graduation rates overall. However, the new California Accountability Dashboard showed that work was needed in academics, suspension rates, and rates of college and career readiness. Graduation rates were of concern for some of our student groups, and English language arts and math scores were a concern on state testing. Internal measures showed that school climate and attendance also needed more attention. Support for African American students, students with disabilities, and homeless youth were significant needs in addition to the groups the LCAP focuses on. A lot of ideas were considered, but they can't all be implemented at the same time. The recommended LCAP changes reflect common themes, supported by both input and data, which affect the students with the greatest needs. School-specific input that was received was passed back to school sites. One theme of input addressed supporting our young students. This includes recommendations that will smooth the transition from preschool to kindergarten and will expand summer programs for those with no preschool experience. It also continues support in Title I kindergarten classrooms and provides specialized behavior supports for primary grade students. A second theme is about closing performance gaps for specific student groups. Recommendations include extra support for foster youth and additional mentoring programs for African American students and students with disabilities. There are recommended efforts to ensure students with disabilities are fully included in school activities and instruction, as well as targeted transportation efforts to address attendance barriers. More English language development teachers, bilingual instructional assistants, and supports for new immigrant English learners are recommended. Finally, focused recruitment of more diverse staff members will also be increased. A third theme addresses literacy and math. Literacy recommendations include implementing instructional materials that better meet the needs of students with disabilities and improving the diversity of books in English and other primary languages. In math, recommendations include revision of integrated Math 1 supports in high school, expanding interventions in middle school, expanding summer math camps for targeted grade levels, and focused professional learning for elementary teachers. While academic, social, emotional, and behavioral supports for students have increased over the past 2 years, additional resources are recommended in this area, including more intervention specialists and social workers. School climate was another common theme. School climates will improve with efforts to ensure equity and culturally responsive schools. Targeted improvement efforts are recommended at several very high-need sites. Improving communication and increasing student voice was the final theme. A pilot of a parent ambassador program, which has been successful in other school districts, is recommended. Strengthening leadership groups and including greater communications around opportunities for student leaders is also recommended. Finally, an independent review of the conflict resolution process with subsequent actions is included in the plan. In 2018-19, there will be a more concrete connection between the district's LCAP and the single plans developed at school sites. We also intend to increase lines of communication with school site council members regarding the LCAP. If you visit www.sanjuan.edu/LCAP, you can review a 3-page summary of the recommended LCAP changes, or review the entire LCAP draft, which is posted on the site. There's a link for those who wish to make comments or ask questions. We want to hear your voice in the LCAP process.